Hands up. Who used the London Underground to get here? 99% of the audience. Good, good, good. Have you ever wondered a little bit more for the history of the London Underground? Why it came to be and how it came to be? Let us switch our clock back to the 19th century. London, a bustling metropolis, the beating heart of the largest empire the world has ever seen, the British Empire. A metropolis that is growing, growing and growing, and where the demands for transportation are becoming increasingly severe. Buses didn't have them at the time, except they were horse-powered. So you could have more of them on the street, but London faced a big problem at that time. A crisis of epic proportion. A horse manual crisis. More and more and more horses doing their dung all over the streets of London. At the current rate of increase, surely the streets would be flooded with them. So a solution had to be found. What about going under the streets instead? And some people proposed just that. Their idea, linking Paddington, a station in the middle of nowhere, to the beating heart of the city in Farringdon. Paddington to Farringdon, the route of the Metropolitan line, the first ever line built in the London Underground. Just imagine the scene. Men digging everything by hand in between buildings and pulling the streets apart so that the train could be put their way. People were criticizing them at the time. They said, this scheme is never going to work. It's a silly idea. It's something we'll never use for. And moreover, there's too many disruptions for it to be built. But in 1863, the builders had their way, and the first train, steam-hauled, ran between Paddington and Farringdon for the first time. Step by step, the network got expanded, first into Aldgate, and then the District Railway, taking advantage of the building of the Thames Embankment, and the modern Circle, District, and Metropolitan line that form all tube maps were there. But what about the rest? What about the core of London, the West End, Oxford Circus? How do you get there? Surely you can't destroy building to let the trains through. So another solution had to be found. Several of them, in fact. The solution was simply to dig deeper, taking advantage of the invention of Sir Henry Greathead. There is a statue of him by a bank, the tunneling shield. Imagine a room in which men working like ants under compressed air would be picking and shoveling the ground, picking and shoveling the London clay to drive the tunnel forward, building extra segments as they went. But how to propel the trains in a deep, dark underworld? Could you have steam trains again? Well, surely the tunnels would get choked with steam. What about compressed air? It doesn't work on long distances. But light came out and a solution was found. The ethereal forces of electricity driving electric motors to propel the train forward in the deep darkness. And so, in 1890, the CSLR was built, the City and South London Railway, between what is currently Bank and some parts of Northern Line, around Clapham. And then a mania was born, an investment mania, because people thought it was a good investment and they could cash in on many dividends and become rich in the process. The Baker Street and Waterloo Railway was one of these, forever to be remembered as the Bakerloo line. The Central London Railway, today Central, the two-penny tube as it was then called, and many, many, many more. Slowly but surely, actually the investment weren't that profitable. The dividends only 2 or 3% a year, so consolidation became the order of the day. 1933, the London Underground Transport Board was formed, bringing everything in the municipal control. There were a lot of innovation, and the famous tube map and round signs are one of them. They would extend the network further in the 40s, 50s and 60s, including a major addition, the Victoria Line, which today is used by over 200 million people every single year. Just imagine that number, all crammed into the train. 200 million of them, one of the most intensively used in the world. But London is growing, London keeps growing, and how can you keep pace with the cities? Like a human body needs arteries, and London's arteries are rails through the clays. As population is set to balloon to 10 million Londoners in a few years' time, I know call for more. I call for the dream of the 1940s visionaries of a 100-mile tunnel to Peckham, Beckenham, South London and under the Street River to be fulfilled. Crossrail is the start of something much bigger. Mr. Phil Jones Bienvenu, the builder of Paris Metro, once had a beautiful saying: Iovis erepto fulmine, per inferna veitur, Prometei genis. With the power of Jupiter's lightning, Prometheus' race is carried in the